Hey guys, happy Saturday. Welcome into another episode of the Daily Juice podcast with me, Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Sports Talk Matt. You guys can follow BettingPros at BettingPros on Twitter. The offer from BetMGM, our title sponsor, as always, $10 bet to win $150. Use that promo code Juice150 at signup. Okay, so a flat day, 1-2, but we bet the 1 unit on the Suns, so we're down like 0.09 units or something like that. So it's a losing day, but it's really nothing. It's not a big deal. It's down the juice if there's really much to pay there. So get both. The baseball bet should have hit, man. I mean, the Rays had bases loaded. It's a 4-3 game. Bases loaded, 1 out. They couldn't even get the tying run in. Red Sox bullpen got fortunate. A couple of really hard-hit balls for the Rays just at the wrong guy. Trevor Story made a couple of really nice plays at second base for Boston to preserve that win for the Red Sox at 4-3. And then, man, I had the Bucks. I had that game pegged perfectly. I had the Bucks in a blowout, but I thought that the Bulls would play better and score enough. I thought it was going to be like a 127 to 105 type of game. Bulls offense was dusted by the Bucks. They win the game easily. I got the -2.5 right. So if you, and a lot of you guys do listen to my other show, which is cool. There's a lot of cross between the Daily Juice and the Bostonian versus the book. So like, there's always a way of like, I tape this overnight and then Dave Sherapan and I get talking during the day. We kind of go back and forth on a lot of things. And by the time I had got to the show, I'd come around heavily on the Bucks -2.5. I did still like the over, but I was on the Bucks -2.5. I was on the Suns -1.5. I got both those games right. Didn't know what to do with Miami. The parlay does not hit because of both Phoenix and the Miami first quarters don't come in on that. But it was just one of those weird. That game was odd. Big game for Trae Young. He comes in and gets a W on a last-second shot to keep his team alive. Now down 2-1. So I expect we're going to see a lot of really good basketball today. We got 4 games to get into today. We have a UFC card tonight, and we've got a day heavyweight championship bout between Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte. So got picks and plays on all that coming up here in a couple of seconds for us here. But one quick little reminder, today's a Saturday. That means we are doing the Discord chat. It is an 8 a.m. start time Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Come on in, make recommendations, talks about some games, break some games down. I'm going to be doing a Twitter Spaces later on in the day as well. So if you want to have me and even more of me, so I'm going to be kind of talking a lot tomorrow morning. A lot of things to get into. So 8 o'clock and then later on in the day, I'll be doing a Twitter Spaces on my Twitter account. So we'll be doing that coming up. So looking forward to chit-chatting about a big day of basketball and I probably will have more bets to have than I'm going to have here on the Daily Juice for us here. But I got 2 plays going in the Dallas game I want to give you. Celtics and the Nets talk about, and then I got a parlay for boxing and the UFC to get into. So let's start here with the Dallas Mavericks and their game against the Utah Jazz. Okay, so you can find 6s that are out there right now. 5.5 is kind of the number, but you can find 6s. Caesars is at 6. A couple other books around the country are at 6 here for Utah, laying 6 points in Game 4 of their best-of-7 series. Total is 212.5. Okay, so from an ATS perspective, I'm really confused, and Dave Sherapan and I spent a lot of time talking about this on our show on Friday. How is this number going up? Like, is everyone just assuming that the game's going to go totally differently? Like, they're going to back the Utah Jazz, who have been really a wonky team this season? So Dallas on the road this year is 25-17 ATS, with or without Luka. 25-17. At home, Utah is 17-23-2 ATS. They're 3-6-1 over the last 10 ATS. Against the Western Conference, Utah is 22-30-3 ATS. Dallas is 36-18-1 this year ATS, including the very impressive win as 8.5-point dogs in game number 1. In game 3, rather. They win by 8. In game 2, they were 5-point dogs. They won by 6. Sure, they lost game number 1 as at home as 5.5-point dogs, and they lost by 6 because Luka didn't play in that game. But the last 2 games without Luka, Brunson's been unbelievable. The shooting has been phenomenal. I get people are fading this, but this feels like a head fake to me. This doesn't feel like the right line movement at all. Give me the Dallas Mavericks +6. Heck yeah. Dallas +6 for a half a unit. I think they keep the game relatively close. I think they might win the game outright, to be quite honest. I could see Dallas winning this game in Utah outright. So I'm going there, Utah +6 for a half a unit. And I'm coming back on another bet on this game as well. It's a 4:30 start time, by the way, Eastern time, 1:30 out here in the desert. But Dallas and Utah, the total is 212.5. So here we are. Utah and Dallas, game one, 208. It went under by 16 points. Then 206.5 goes over by 7.5 points. And then 207.5, and it goes over by 36.5 points. We're coming back here with a total of 212.5. That's it. Look, on the road, Dallas this year is 21-20-1 to the over. Utah at home this year is 22-19-1 to the over. These teams have played 3 times in Utah, and all 3 games have gone over by 39.5 points in the last game. In the first game against Dallas at home for Utah, it was 216.5. It went over by 6.5 points. And then in the first game in Dallas, it was 214 and went over by 22 points. They play up tempo. 3-0 to the over when Utah plays at home against Dallas. Going to bet the streak here. Ride it over 212.5 for a half a unit. We're going over 212.5 for Dallas and Utah here in game number 4. All right. Dallas +6, over 212.5. 2 bets, full unit going on this game. Half a unit in either side, either bet for Dallas and Utah. Okay. Third bet in the NBA. Robert Williams is back. I cannot tell you how damn big that is. Huge. Absolutely huge for the Boston Celtics. Defensively, gigantic for the Boston Celtics to have this guy back. I think it's just a monster deal here, okay? Look, I think Boston's going to play incredible defense and keep playing incredible defense here. And, man, I am stuck as to what happens in this game. I think this is absolutely a barn burner, tight basketball game. I lean towards the under 222.5. Lean towards the under. But because Robert Williams is back, and I'm not positive what Robert Williams is going to do. Look, I haven't bet Boston in this series. I bet game 1 and I lost. Okay. I'm going to bet Boston in game 3 here. I very well might lose again. This might be, if you like the Nets +3, this is probably a very good thing for you that I'm going to come in here and take Boston +3. But man, Boston on the road is 25-15-1. They're a better team ATS on the road than they are at home. The numbers for Brooklyn are always skewed because of what happened with Kyrie earlier in the year. But I mean, look at the way that they played at home late. Didn't cover against Cleveland. Didn't cover against Indiana. They did cover against Cleveland in the first game, but didn't cover against Houston. Didn't cover against Milwaukee. Didn't cover against Detroit. I mean, these are games that Kyrie was playing in, okay? They weren't covering, and I think this team, look, they're going to play Ben Simmons in game 4. Are you kidding me? Look, very much and very similar to what happened in Toronto with the Philadelphia 76ers. Joel Embiid hit a 3 at the buzzer to win the game outright. I'm going to take the 3 points here. I think Boston's live to win the game. I think Robert Williams coming back is huge for Boston's defensive ability. When Robert Williams was on the floor for Boston, they were killing people on the road. They beat Denver by 20. They beat Sacramento on the road by 29. They beat Golden State on the road by 22 points, man. They beat Chicago on the road by 23 points. They were killing people until Robert Williams got hurt, okay? Having him back is so damn big to me. Give me the 3 points. Boston +3 for a half a unit here. All right. I will have most likely more plays. I'm going to let you guys pick whatever else is left from basketball if you want. All of baseball, all of hockey. If you want to get involved, feel free to go ahead and jump on that. So I may have something else to add to the card as the day goes on. There's so many sporting events going on Saturday. It's an unbelievable sports day, but cannot wait to watch Brooklyn and Boston play here. 7:30 Eastern time start, 4:30 start. Okay, so let's get to boxing. We've got a heavyweight fight in England. The card begins at 2 p.m. Eastern. 5 p.m. Eastern is when they're expected to make the ring walk over in England for Dillian Whyte taking on Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is favored by 5. It's minus 550, okay? Tyson Fury by knockout is minus 150. I can 100% see this. However, Tyson Fury has been a guy who, sometimes when he's bored, he plays with his food and he doesn't end fights. Dillian Whyte's a tough dude. He's not going to want to go out and get knocked out here. I don't want to risk this thing. People were talking about betting the under. Very possible. But Dillian Whyte's a durable dude, and he may be able to take the punishment and be able to stick around. Some people say, knockout in the 10th round, knockout in the 11th round. It's all very possible, but I just want to be safe the only thing I feel very confident in is that Tyson Fury is winning the fight, okay? Goes to the cards, he wins the fight. Knockout, he wins the fight. Tyson Fury will win this fight. I hate when boxers start talking about retirement before their fights. It worries me consistently about effort, about how prepared they are. I hate it. I don't believe him on top of that, but I hate when fighters are talking about retirement going into a fight. It's a mindset. It scares me to death here. And that's why I think money's coming in here on Dillian Whyte, and I get it. People have bet Dillian Whyte because they bet the dog and they drive the line down. You may get better money, a money line bet than I, but it's minus 550 for Tyson Fury. So I'm not laying minus 550, obviously, right? So I'm going to go to the main event for the UFC fight card here in Vegas on Saturday. Amanda Lemos against Jessica Andrade. Andrade is a big favorite here, okay? But if you look at the fight time here, Amanda Lemos is interesting. She has won at least 5 straight fights, maybe more. And she's a southpaw. Jessica Andrade is so physically strong for this division. She's just an absolute, for strawweight, she is so strong. Average fight time, though, for Andrade is 9 minutes and 50 seconds. Average fight time for Amanda is 7 minutes, 38 seconds. So, and I think I'm probably saying her last name wrong. Is Limas? I don't care. But I know who she is. I don't know how to say the last name. I need John Anik's help to tell me how to say her last name. But you're talking about a fight that most likely will be on the feet, which I think kind of favors Andrade. I think this fight ends before we get to the cards. That I feel confident with. Some people like Amanda to knock out Andrade early. Some people like Andrade to end the fight quickly. I don't really have a great feel. And female fights scare me a lot because they can be kind of weird and crazy things can happen. But you can get on the fight to not go the distance. You can bet the no on will the fight go the distance. It's minus 215 for the fight not to go the full 5 rounds. If you parlay that with Tyson Fury's main event moneyline victory at minus 550, it's a minus 137 bet. Okay. It's not outstanding, but it's 2 big favorites. Put them together. I tend to like to do this two leg parlays when it comes to combat sports. I feel pretty confident to throw a half a unit down on this. Tyson Fury minus 550 money line. The main event for UFC tonight in Vegas. Amanda versus Jessica, Lemos versus Andrade. I think I'm saying Amanda's name or not, but I might not be. Main event won't go the distance. No, on the main event, not going the distance. It's minus 215. Parlay that together. It's a minus 137 bet for a half a unit. Okay, so Dallas plus 6, half a unit. Over 212.5, Dallas and Utah, half a unit. Celtics plus 3, half a unit. And Fury money line, main event UFC fight will not go the distance at minus 215. That is a minus 137 2-leg parlay for us for combat sports here on a Saturday. I will talk to you guys coming up in the Discord channel. You guys will be able to make a bet for me, half a unit play on the Discord channel chat, 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern time. I will talk to you guys coming up for that conversation and maybe an ad or two as the day goes on. Big Sports Saturday. Buckle up. Let's have some fun. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt. Each and every morning, it's Daily Juice Podcast, always being brought to you by BetMGM.